Hi, I'm Suzanne Castle, and this is the Thought Leader Thursday. I'm here today introducing you to another incredible leader, thinker, doer, and all-around amazing human who's going to help each of us think about our world a little bit differently than anyone else. From artists to teachers, from actors to moms, from the big names to the you didn't know about them till now names, my hope is that you will connect with a leader who helps you light up in your corner of this galaxy. This is the Thought Leader Thursday show. Hi, I'm Suzanne. Welcome back to the Thought Leader Thursday. In 20 minutes or less, we're going to up-level you, your life, your mindset, your success, your goals, and the guest today knows exactly how to do that. I cannot wait for you to meet her. But first, all right, Andrew, I've been thinking a lot about if someone was going to describe you as a brand, what word would they use?
That's a really good one and a really hard one for me because I don't know exactly what my brand is. I like clothing wise, it's like all black clothing all the time, except for today. Today I'm wearing a colored shirt, but it's always backstage-esque. But it's always like a support kind of thing is my kind of main brand, I guess.
I like that. I like that very much. I think we think about brands, we're told that we learn in an early age what the golden arches are, even before we can't spell it or see it or speak it. And so that visual component of our lives is really something that we carry with us. I know that as you're watching right now, you might be thinking of someone and you recognize a color with them. Like Andrew likes all the black and the backstagey kind of things, right? Or maybe you're thinking of sparkle like me. I always have something that sparkles on me. Or maybe you're thinking about someone that's more of like a Lexus brand or a Target brand, those kinds of things. Branding is really important to the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we share our messaging in the world, from your life to your business. And we have an expert about this very topic here with us today. I can't wait to introduce you to Michell B. Griffin. Here's what you need to know about this stellar woman. She is an international personal branding and public relations strategist and specialist. She's devoted her entire career to connecting people, building community, helping them let their story matter so their brand shines. And in 2020, she founded the personal branding consultancy firm called Brand Authority. And what this group does is they really help equip and empower female leaders and entrepreneurs with training that they need to increase visibility, enhance their reputation, make an impact, and profit from her expertise in helping them define their brand. She's obviously a lifelong learner. You already got that because she's such a goddess at what she does, but she is also a story brand certified marketing guide. And so she holds all these industry credentials, these certifications. People can't wait to use her, to hire her, to get her expertise. She's a frequent speaker, a contributor, a presenter on things like visibility and branding and, oh my gosh, LinkedIn. And I know you want to start following her there. You cannot miss her posts. So she has her own shows as well. She's got a personal branding podcast, The Business of You, which is a kind of a personal branding show. And then she has the LinkedIn branding show. She has listeners worldwide. She's got thousands of people that follow her because they love her magic and her message. Michell, welcome inside the Thought Leader Thursday studio.
Wow. Thank you for that sparkly introduction, Suzanne. I am thrilled to be here. I'm honored to be here and to chat with you today.
You are such a rock star at this branding thing, at the LinkedIn thing, about how to shine a light on your own story and live into that with how people think and talk about you. And I think for me, I always see your LinkedIn posts, and here's why. You have the magic of the yellow box, and I'm so glad you have on your yellow blazer today because it's one of, I think, the ways that people identify you. So when you see a yellow box with all the blue and the white and the black text that's scrolling on LinkedIn, or the static images of someone at work that's usually not them because they just pulled it off of some site or this, like Pexels, right? Your stuff really stands out. And so I think what I'd love to ask you to start with first is, why is that mattering? So why does your personal brand matter for a thought leader? Why do you want to encompass that yellow box, so to speak, when people are coming towards you?
Oh my goodness, because I really, at the end of the day, we want thoughtful impactful thought leaders to stand out, to be known, to be recognized, so they can meet and help the people they're here to meet.
Absolutely.
And so yellow, to me, a little backstory, I live in Florida, which I know you've been in Pensacola, Florida, where I'm from actually, and it's hot and it's sunny. But I also, through my work, the problem I solve is helping obscurity. So I help people find clarity. So being clear and bright, my brand is all about being warm and approachable. So those are the feelings. Just like we asked earlier, what is a feeling you want to be associated with?
Right.
That is exactly how I want to show up, so I can attract the right people, so they can in turn get the clarity and then start, create a chain reaction, pay it forward. That's how I look at my work.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's a really important concept for people to grab hold on, because they just think, okay, well, it's just what people actually see. But I've told a story before that, I always have something sparkly on. 24/7. And I happened to go to Costco one day, and the lady that was checking me out said, "You're the sparkle girl." And I just kind of turned my head and she goes, "Every time you're in here, I see you walk in, you light up the room, and I see you just sparkle. You always have sparkle about you." And that day I happened to have a sequin t-shirt on, but I stopped, and she said, "And you always have a smile on your face." So people remember you and react to you even when you're not really sure that they're looking at your stuff or they're seeing you or they're following you. You really are making an impact with that kind of personal brand that you're putting out there. Are you finding that to be true?
Absolutely. And one thing I want to quantify and specify is that the way I do my personal branding, I say I like to take a foundational approach. It's not fluffy, because we could go off on a whole nother topic about that fake, perfect influencer sequence out there.
Yes.
But I help people find what's exactly internally them to meet the external clarity of who they're here to help, and then really find that professional clarity. So everything about your personal brand, it's you just put out there in the way that you're meant to be. It's not a manufactured you or anything like that. It's just you. And that's such a refreshing thing, because I find so many of my clients, and I'm sure you work with clients and people, we all are searching for that meaning and that definition. And so that's what I'm honored and wake up every day and do. And I love my job, because I'm helping people develop their professional clarity and then amplify it, because let's face it, we got to get it out there even more.
Right. And I think that's where people get stuck, though, a little bit, because they think of, okay, if I have a brand, now I have to be Beyonce, right? Like I have to have this whole team of people, and every day I have to do this and do that and do this and do that. And I think that when we go into the realm of influencer, right, I think we have assumptions about what that actually means. But I know that the work that you do is really kind of busting through some of those common myths that people have brought to the table about what branding is and what it isn't and what it means for them personally. Could you share maybe one or two of those common myths that you're helping to dispel?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad we're having this discussion, because that's really how I like to take a brand stand. I bring a foundational versus fluffy. And to be honest, I really don't like the term personal branding, only because it has so many myths, misconceptions, and misunderstandings. I like to consider it personal positioning. Who am I? What do I stand for? How am I here to impact in the way I'm here to, make my message and my voice and everything, my expertise out there? So, a lot of people, first off, especially in the LinkedIn world, you'll see, I'm not a brand. I'm not a, Tide or toothpaste. I'm not fake and manufactured. No, you're you. I'm not trying to make anyone not to be who they are. So you're absolutely 100% you. We just find all the pieces that make sense, so people are well positioned to know you. You'll be top of mind. You'll be that person they think of when they need that XYZ thing you do. So another thing is, of course, like you said, Beyonce, people think you need to be a singer or a celebrity. And maybe years ago that was the case, but digital has changed the game, right?
Right.
Even more so in the last 5 years and decade, we have all the tools. We can be our own media channels. So we have a level playing field. Mm-hmm. And then another thing is, people think it's being promotional, and narcissistic. Oh, I'm going to just show up and be all about me. Well, I'll be honest, I'm super extroverted, but I have this I call myself a online introvert, because you've met me before in person, I think, when you spoke here in our hometown, and I love to talk. But when I first started getting out online and promoting myself, it was weird for me. I guess I'm private. So the thing about it is, I tell my clients, look, flip that switch. You have life-changing message, expertise, something that can help someone. you've got to be visible so they know you exist, so you can help them. Visibility is not vanity, I like to say.
But that's
visibility is being valuable. So visibility is not being visible. Remember that. Visibility is being valuable. And that's the way I like to spin that. And that's the truth. And so we can all make an impact in some way. We don't have to do Beyonce level, but when people know we're here to help and we're well positioned, they know us as that go-to to be of service and help them.
I think about, years ago when before anything was online, really before the internet came to be, you got things by word of mouth, right? Like some people did advertising, but really advertising was relegated to kind of larger companies, movie houses, et cetera, that could afford that kind of play. So it was, hey, who's the person you rely on to be your tailor? And so you would share it, and then that person would share it. And there was kind of this word of mouth. So I love what you're saying about, you want to be practical about your positioning and say, I want people to know, hey, I do this thing, so that they're going to go tell other people about this thing. So it's always not, I'm screaming about this the loudest, let's say, but I want to be sure you understand what I am doing. So when you're ready for it, or someone who's ready for it, you know who to go to. I think that's a really different way of looking at branding altogether. Well done.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So this can seem pretty overwhelming. I mean, let's be really, truly honest. So when I think about my own world and how I can't do anything without my team, I'm a complete lost little lamb. But when I think about, okay, you read this article and they're like, okay, you need to do Instagram stories 4 to 7 times a day. You shouldn't post on your grid more than 3 times a week. You need to post on your Facebook page, but not sell on your Facebook page every single day at maximized times. And then you sell into your Facebook groups. So you have to manage extra Facebook groups. And then on LinkedIn, you need to think very carefully about when you're posting, and you don't just want to post, you always want to comment. And so you want to be commenting more than you're posting. And so go in other groups and follow these newsletters, and oh my gosh. And then you're like, now this is a full-time job. Like, how do I get to do the things that I need to do to put that out online when all I'm doing is posting and figuring out where to go? So I think for the average person, this can seem really excruciating, overwhelming, and exhausting. So if you were speaking to someone, they're like, okay, I cannot do all those things. I don't have a team managing me. How do I get started with just putting myself out there? What are maybe some helpful tips that you could give to people listening and tuning in right now on how you could do that without, a $1 million budget to make it happen?
Absolutely. You are 100% right. There's so much content out there and so many shiny objects, new this, new that. It's overwhelming. Here's the thing. A lot of my clients, a lot of people just assume and just jump. I have a 7-step process. Let's just put it out there. I know it's overwhelming, and you need a stair step. You need a foundational first approach to know who you are, who you help, and why you're different, so that you can do all those social media things. That's like number 5 or 4 and 5 of my thing. So I have a framework called the Visible Brand Authority. Okay. Because we want to be visible. We want to have a brand so people know, and then we want to be authority because people trust authority and credibility. And that trust thing is 100% why we're here. And we need to be trusted, know, like, and trust, but the trust has got to be the most important thing. So I like to say, get some guardrails. Now, professional clarity, if you can get it for yourself, it's going to help you make sense of, oh, I know I don't need to be on 20 platforms. I know that Facebook won't work for me because I know who I am, who I serve, and how I'm different. So you're not throwing spaghetti at the wall, so to speak. So I have guardrails. I'll tell you the first 3, or we can run through all 7.
I would love it. Yes.
Okay, real quick. And here's the thing. They're on my website, my 7-step.
Great.
They all start with P's. Number 1 is perspective. We need to get internal perspective on who we are, our missions, goals, values, beliefs, personal and professional perspective. That's going to be huge. And so you can take a stand and have a point of view. People like people who take point of views,
right?
Not in a bad way, but just like, oh, that makes them different. I get them. They're here for me. So you get really clear in who that is. Okay. Then we hop to our people, because business, and we're here to help others, right? That's what business is about. For me, people is 2-part. It's the persona, the ideal person you're here to help or work with or whatever. But it's also your power partners. Okay.
Right.
People that help cross-pollinate us. They help build us, amplify us. We get in front of their communities. They're just going to support us way faster. Together we grow faster, right? So that's going to be huge to identify those power partners. Number 3, the first part I call my clarity trifecta. Number 3 is a professional clarity. How am I uniquely different, based sometimes on those first 2, to stand out as sometimes hopefully the category of one, undeniably different, that people like, oh, this what makes her different. This what makes him different. I need to know this person. And there is definitely a way, I haven't failed since or yet to do that. So once you get that intense, most important foundation, you're going to feel like the world, the skies have parted. You've been living in a cloud of frustration and all the things. And suddenly, wow, the world is sunny because now you get it. So you can translate into your messaging. Sometimes that stuff on social media, it's not hitting because the messaging isn't deep enough, niche enough, clear enough, specific enough. So we get into number 4 is packaging. And that's like, how am I showing up in my own stuff on social media? Everything that is aligned. And sometimes if you have, I work with subject matter experts, they have their own frameworks and processes. We bring all that out. That really defines them as well. So packaging is a really fun part. And that's where I get the coloring, the fonts, and all those brand voices and messaging and packaging. Number 5 is where we fuel our brand. That is your content, or publishing, I should say. Yep. So we need to share our expertise and let others know. How else do you show up online, right? Content is in audio, video, written, whatever. That needs to be out there with your core content impact areas, so it aligns with your known as status. And then you're getting some really good traction there, right? You're growing and everyone's on a different speed and different lane, but they're all going the same direction. So number 6 is promotion. I want to caution you though, it's not self-promotion, but we need to promote our message and what we stand for so more people can be aware of us. So that's when you bring in media, press, speaking, podcast guesting. All my clients have different avenues and ways they want to get out there, and there's a lot of different ways. PR is not just publicity. There are many, many ways. So then we get to the propel stage, because you know why? Our brands never quit. We keep growing. And as people, we want to keep shifting out of that comfort zone and going into the growth zone. So we're saying yes to bigger things, scarier things sometimes, but more impactful things that are going to help us grow, help us build trust, build a community, build our businesses, and build us up personally and professionally. So in a very sped up way, that is the 7-part framework that I take my clients through.
But I think that was really helpful because, like you said, most people are just like, okay, what do I need to put where? Which is the wrong question to ask, right? So we have to start way back. I mean, like we work together, and I start here. Like all of my work with anybody I work with starts here. It's not, you didn't make your goal, or you didn't make as much money as you thought you were, or you're stuck in a thing. We always start here, because until it's here, it doesn't matter wherever else it is. And I love that you kind of pull back a little bit and go, let's take a moment, let's take a breath and really understand identity before we can do any of those other pieces. So this has been remarkable. And I want to be sure that if you check out the show notes, check out the lower thirds to find out all the different ways that you can follow Michelle. I know she's got all sorts of goodies on her website, and she routinely has free training and goodies, especially on LinkedIn. So I follow her. She has been super helpful to me. I know she will to you too. Is there anything that you want to specifically make sure that you put in front of people?
Yeah, well, I'm in the midst of redoing my website. So that's coming out with all new goodies and things in the next couple of weeks. And maybe by the time this is out, but you can follow me at Michell B, and the B is for branding. MichellBGriffin.com is where my home base, my number 4, my platform. And, also, I would love to meet you if you're on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email, a DM, and say, hey, I heard you on Thought Leader Thursday.
That's all right.
And also I would love to connect with you. I have a community called the 365 Creators Community, where I'm exclusively giving LinkedIn tips and nurture people, because I have people coming all over the world. There's about 1,200 of us that are trying to build our brands, get active on LinkedIn, and it's a very supportive place. And I work really hard to make sure it's not spammy, because sometimes groups can be, but I'm like out there and in there all the time, making sure we're all, supporting one another. But I would love that. And then check out some of my podcasts. I have a link to my podcast. So if you want to catch up on some of the things about personal branding and LinkedIn branding, I've got so many resources, so you can just go to town and get to educate yourself that way.
That'd be great. Like I said, she's a giver. So you'll definitely want to check out all these hot tips tips, tricks, tools that she has for you to really up level how you're showing up for yourself and for those that you serve in the world. Okay, Michelle, before I let you go, every single person that comes in the studio has to answer one question, and I can't wait to hear. What is your definition of what it means to sparkle?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this, because this is my personal mantra and mission and what I do. This is what I think means to sparkle. When you put yourself out there to make your unique mark on the world, okay? You sparkle when you show up and you shine your light, your message, your expertise, and your voice to impact others, to get out there. So don't stay hidden. We need you to sparkle.
That's right. Oh, so good. Michelle, thank you for all this time, your energy, the way that you lifted up every person that's checking this out right now. And you, viewer, I'm so glad that you were here. I'm Suzanne Castle. I'll see you on the next Thought Leader Thursday.